So someone asked me recently what tools I use to crochet. What are the best tools for the job and what tools do I recommend? If you know me, I'm a big tea drinker. I love a cup of tea. I love a relax on the sofa. I am a cheap date. I am a cheap and cheerful kind of gal. And I first started to learn to crochet with this kit from Amazon. So when I first got into crochet, this is what I bought. I thought a tenner. It even comes with a pencil case. Everything that you need is included in this kit. And you know what? I haven't bought any crochet hooks apart from sizes that are not included in this kit, and I've even bought this kit for people as a present. So I'm going to unbox this kit with you. I'm going to show you what's inside, and hopefully it will inspire you to either start crochet or just let you know what things you need to get started. So looking at this kit, it comes in this pencil case. Now I've upgraded this pencil case a few times over the years, but still 6 years on, this is still the pencil case that comes with this order. Nothing to do with crochet, but the moustache is cute. So let's open it up. You get a almost full set of crochet hooks. So I think you get a 2.5mm hook, which is this small yellow one here, all the way up to an 8mm hook. So the only hooks that I have bought are 10 and 12mm hooks. Any other hook that you see me with has either been gifted or gotten in a magazine or something like that. It's very noisy, sorry. So this is what the crochet hooks look like. So they have a smooth metal hook, and then they have a kind of silicone grip, which is really good if you have trouble like me with the standard metal hooks. I kind of get lots of aches and pains in my knuckles if I'm crocheting for too long. These ones are amazing and they'll keep you going for longer. Not that I recommend that. You should totally know your limits and stop if your hands are hurting you, but these will help you just because I think they're more comfortable to hold and there's something extra to hold on to. So I should have brought a crochet hook, a thin one really, to show, but basically it's just the metal bit all the way down. This gives it a thicker handle and makes crocheting more enjoyable, definitely for me anyway. The other thing I love about this kit in particular is the fact that it actually comes with a 7mm hook. I don't think that a 7mm hook is that popular. I don't see many crocheters using a 7mm hook, and if you know someone that does regularly, then please leave me a comment below and shout out their name so I can go and check them out. I love a bigger hook, and if you know me, you know that I love a chunky crochet project. So the fact that there's a 7mm, which just means that a chunkier crochet project or using a chunky yarn in the UK can be made a bit more lacy or with a bit more drape. That I love, really excites me. So they are the crochet hooks. Brilliant if you have hurty hands like me. I'm not sure what the professional term is, but they come in the kit. So set of crochet hooks. You might not need them all. If you start your crochet journey, you might only need 1 or 2 depending on what yarn you are using. But this is my go-to kit. So this is the kit that I recommend, and you'll have enough hooks for all the projects you want to do, probably within the first year or so of crochet. But like I said, I don't use any other hooks. I still use these hooks. You can see my original one here, which is the 6mm, this one here. And I still use these 6 years later. So put them to one side and we'll see what else is in here. Needles. Yarn needles. I love that they come in this little test tube as well. I think that's really cool. So in this kit you get multiple sizes, as in lengths of needle, and some are a bit thicker than others, and I think that's just for the maybe the different thicknesses of yarn that you're going to use. I tend to use a metal needle over a plastic needle just because I think it's nicer to sew, but I have nothing against plastic needles, and as you can see I have a few here from previous projects and ones that I actually put in my kits. They work really well, and I wouldn't give them a miss if you've got them. So a yarn needle is probably something you will need if you are going to continue to crochet and you want to sew in those ends. I don't know who wants to sew in ends, but you need a yarn needle if you want to get rid of those ends. Moving on to the next thing inside this kit, you get a cute little stitch marker. I've never actually used a stitch marker. I don't use a stitch marker in general. Nothing against this one. I cannot tell you how good it is, or I don't want to recommend it particularly in any way. I do recommend this kit, but as an individual item, I don't have a stitch marker, and now I am quite a competent crocheter, I probably wouldn't use one. But they are quite popular and lots of people do. So you get a little one in this kit. I think this one with a hole here goes on the crochet hook like this, but I think it's for knitting needles, to go on your knitting needles rather than your crochet hook. So this one you might have to use manually by picking up and putting down when you're doing your project, just because you need the whole shaft of the hook to crochet. Next up, measuring tape. Measuring tape is really important. I still use a tape measure even though I have this measuring tape, because that's all I had when I was starting out, and I am a creature of habit. But a measuring tape is really important, especially for measuring those gauge swatches. For those of you that watching that can already crochet, gauge swatch is really important. So if you are new to crochet and you're not sure what that is, go and research the term, familiarise yourself with it, and don't neglect doing them, because they really help with your projects, especially if you make garments. So tape measure is really important, and I would recommend that you have one in your kit. Next we have stitch markers. Stitch markers I used quite a lot when I first started to crochet. If you don't buy this kit and you want to make like a home kit or a DIY kit instead of buying a kit, you can just use a safety pin. Some people use pieces of scrap yarn, but I find that they come out quite easily and don't do the job as well as something that is secure. I wouldn't use anything too heavy, so I wouldn't use like a badge that has a safety pin on the back, just because you don't want those stitches to stretch or gape. But I can just show you an example of how the stitch marker works. So this is a project that I'm working on at the moment. So you can open the stitch markers. So it is like a little plastic, blue on blue is not very good, is it? Blue on, lost my train of thought now, plastic safety marker. You can put it in the end, so you could put one in the end of every row to keep count of your rows. If you were doing making a blanket that had a really long chain, you could put a stitch marker in every 20 chains in case you lose count. This was really helpful and something I did a lot when I was a new crocheter. Yeah, so you could put one stitch marker in every 20th chain, so that if you're making a huge blanket for a double bed, for instance, which I did do, and you needed to chain 200, and when you got to 150 you lost count, you can just count in 20s up to the point of where your last stitch marker is. So that is really important. So this is the little kit that I obviously said that I got when I first started crocheting. There is one more thing in here. This, put your finger in it and you cut your yarn off. It's got a little blade on it. I would never use this. I always use a pair of scissors. So these are just kids scissors. So actually they're IKEA kitchen scissors, but they look like kids scissors, so we're gonna go with that. And I didn't get this in my original kit, and I will probably throw this away just because I've got a little one and it's quite dangerous. So yeah, pair of scissors is a must, something that you should have in your kit to cut off those yarn ends, especially for when you're changing colour or for when you've finished your project. So these are the things that I would have to start off with. I would have a pair of scissors, your stitch markers, your needles. Again, it doesn't matter if they are plastic or metal, a tape measure, but you could use a ruler or an actual tape measure that you have in your shed, and a set of crochet hooks. This kit, when I purchased it, was £9 on Amazon, and I think it's £9.99 now, so it hasn't gone up a huge deal, and it's a really great affordable kit that includes everything you need to start crocheting. So I'm going to leave a link for this kit in the description box below. It will be an affiliate link, so if you click the link and purchase it through Amazon, I will make a small commission, but it doesn't cost you any more money to buy the kit. So click the link in the description box below. If you don't need everything, but you just want a few things, there are loads of places online you can get them. So get them while you're ordering your yarn, from Lovecraft Crafts, for instance, and I'll leave the link for their website in the description box below as well. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you've got a better understanding of the tools you need to start your first project. If you haven't yet started your first project and you'd love to learn to crochet, then I will also leave a link to my Etsy store in the description box below, where you can buy a Learn to Crochet kit, and that comes with a ball of yarn, a crochet hook, a darning needle, and a 6-step video tutorial course on how to create your first stitch and other stitches that you might need to continue your crochet journey. So if you liked this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to let me know that you would like me to create more content, and I'll catch up with you again soon.